Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be talking about my visit to the Brontë Parsonage Museum. This place is in Haworth, so you have to climb a hill in Haworth in West Yorkshire, and it's filled with quirky shops and old buildings, and some of the buildings were even built around the time when the Brontes lived, and I really enjoyed the decorations they had. And this place definitely has its own personality, and I really like the small shops, bookstores, cafes they had. And these buildings were, as I said earlier, back then when the Brontes were there. And you can see how steep this place was. This is the pub where Branwell Bronte often visited, and the Cabinet of Curiosities is the original pharmacy that the Brontes regularly used when they got sick. And we'll go into the pharmacy later, but check out this decor. It is so pretty, and it has its own character. So after exploring just a small bit, we went towards the Brontë Parsonage through the church, and if you notice, there are so many graveyards, and it's because this area had really high mortality because of all the contaminants in the water. It's really sad that most of it is particularly with filled with children not more than 6 years of age, and each graveyard had multiple people buried in it with their names engraved later, and it created a constant reminder of mortality. And we are heading off to the parsonage, and next to me is the school. This is the view from the parsonage. This garden didn't exist at that time. This is newly added, and at the back you can see the church where we were earlier. And the Brontes would just walk from the parsonage to the church without the wall and the trees. These trees and the gardens were added much later. It definitely makes it more prettier. And this is the parsonage. We are on queue to get inside. The last two windows were added much later, but when the Brontes lived, these sections were not added. And you can see the last two windows on the right side look a bit newer than the other ones, and it is because to add an exhibition section. And I was really lucky to be in the last so that I could get in a nice picture in front of the parsonage. I can't believe that I'm standing. This is the famous room and the table where all the classics from the Brontes were written. The sisters would work late into night. And this is another room opposite of the dining room where Patrick Bronte would take his breakfast. And this is the hallway. This is the kitchen. As you see, the kitchen is quite small, and people were hanging clothes in there. This is me and Barfi. We're just chilling in the hallway before going upstairs. And this is where Brontes used to play as kids, in this stairways, as we often do, at least I did during my childhood. That was the clock earlier, and the picture of the Bronte sisters. The Bronte sisters also liked painting, and they were really good at watercolor painting. And this is the paint box of Anne Bronte. And you can see the paints are still there, and the uh, materials that they use for painting is still in there, which is really nicely preserved. I was really awed to see that they were constantly creating, not just writing, but painting, sketching. They used creativity a lot of in every aspect of their lives. This is Charlotte Bronte's clothes, and you can see the fashion there. She wasn't that tall. I'm not that tall either, so I was really surprised to see that she is actually shorter than me. And here's me getting excited to be close to Charlotte Bronte. This is the closest I can get to her, and behind me is her portrait. And people are checking out stuff about Charlotte Bronte's artifacts. And this room was the bedroom of Charlotte Brontë. That's Charlotte Bronte's hair and her handkerchief. And there's some notes, and all the notes that they wrote in tiny handwriting. The gloves, there's a sketch of the school that they taught, and all kinds of aspects. This is Anne's sketches, and this is the Victorian coin. You can see Queen Victoria in the coin there. This is the water bottle to heat them, and these are more paintings and books that they read, some painting materials. That's the collar of Emily Bronte's dog, and you can see the pen that they used in there. This is Anne Bronte's sketch painting that she drew of herself. She has some really nice features. She has some sharp features, and her fashion is Victorian. Off shoulder reminds me of us currently wearing it. And this is Anne Bronte's sketch of the windmill. And like these sisters were constantly creating of something, so the novels were not the only thing. Here's me trying out Victorian fashion. This didn't fit me, so I had to improvise, and I improvised by wearing the top as a scarf. There is also a bookshop next to the parsonage where you can buy all the famous books and stuff related. And there's also this art gallery about Haworth made by local people there that you can buy. Here's me doing more poses because it's really rare to see the picture of Bronte sisters and Branwell brothers. It's not this exact picture, but it was really nice that he was not forgotten. And you can get Bronte beers in Haworth, and some of these we went on a walk exploring Haworth and the architecture. You can, and this place was right next to the King's Arm is another pub that was from the Bronte era. And the town, it used to be filled with blood from the butcher's shop. Now it's with cars and some parks where we get to chill, and everything's clean. This is the Bronte school where all the Bronte kids taught, and right now it has a market going on. Now it's no longer a school. Haworth is definitely a tourist destination, and now we are going to go inside the church to check out the place where the Brontes were buried. And Patrick Bronte, the father, he was the minister here. He's also responsible for making sure the gravestones were vertical. This is the place where all the Brontes are buried except Anne Bronte, and you can see they are honored here in this plaque. And this is the plaque where all the Brontes they are mentioned here, and the death certificate. There was death certificate of Emily Bronte as well, and it felt very surreal to see it. And again, it's right next to the main church area, and they're resting in peace. The decor of the church is really nice. I really like the stained. Now we're into the cabinet of curiosities, checking out the original pharmacy, and you can see all these products that used to be the original pharmacy style. And Buffy is ready to go outside to explore. We are now exploring the moors area, and the Bronte sisters used to take long walks and sought inspiration for their writing, and you can see why. On the other side, it was the town filled with butchers and factory people, and this side was filled with nature and hikes, and it is a very soft place. It makes you feel relaxed and super present in the present moment. And here we are enjoying the nice day, and it not raining also made it better. Usually the moors are known for rough weather and windy weather, but this day the weather was really nice. There's also a space where the Bronte sisters walked for 2 hours and went to this place which is now known as the Brontë Falls, where they used to sit and write about the inspiration. But we didn't have enough time to do that, so we were just walking around, met some curious sheep. I think they were curious to see Barfi, and Barfi was curious to see them. And maybe they thought Barfi was a sheep. And here we are enjoying the nice nature of the moors, and it really feels inspiring and makes you think more creative. So this is the town, and we are heading back from Haworth, and there were a lot of people. Oh, I forgot to show you this. They were also good at knitting and stitching, and this is Branwell Bronte's bedroom, and it's messy. And this is his writing desk and storage, the huge trunk. And this is Charlotte Bronte's picture that she drew, and again Anne Bronte's sketches, and you can see how she was practicing sketching eyes. See you. Thank you for watching.